All right, folks, I am down to the last bit of my dash cam footage from my 2024 golf trip. And I figured that today I'm going to go ahead and tell a little story about my grandma, about how I was about to turn her over to the Border Patrol just outside of Las Cruces, New Mexico, back in 2019. Now, just a little background on my grandma here. She is 87 years old and will probably outlive all of us. And if she isn't telling me stories, which she's been known to do, she was born in a boxcar way back in the day, maybe before they had hospitals. I'm not sure. I'm also pretty sure she has friends all around the world. But back in 2019, she was wanting to go see some of her friends in Phoenix, Arizona. So I decided I was going to go ahead and drive her out there. And along the way, I was going to actually start my quest to play golf in all 50 states. So it was somewhat of a win win. Got to spend a little time with my grandma. We got to play some golf together. And we got to see a lot of beautiful places. So the first place that we stopped was just outside of Austin, Texas. And we ended up staying in this hotel that was in the middle of renovation. So half the hotel was like covered up in plastic, and we were in a neighborhood that was well, I think we might have been the only ones that spoke English there. But anyway, we got our hotel room, got checked in, got a little something to eat. Now, let me say this. In my entire life, I don't know that I've ever seen my grandma sleep. She's always on the move, and if she sits still for more than about 5 minutes at a time, you kind of start getting nervous. But anyway, the next morning we had woke up and my grandma was asleep in bed. I went ahead and got my shower, got ready for the day, and then tried to wake her up. And to my surprise, she was very hard to wake up. And I couldn't really tell if she was breathing, to be honest with you. And I started to get a little bit nervous. I kind of pushed her a little bit and said, "Hey, Grandma, come on, time to get up." And she didn't move at all. So after about 10 minutes, I was getting really nervous and about to call my aunt to tell her that I thought Grandma might have passed on, when a few seconds later, she finally woke up and got moving around, and I'm pretty sure was ready before I was after that happened. So we got out, went and played a little golf, and then we started heading towards Roswell, New Mexico. Now, folks, this epic journey is a little bittersweet. I'm really glad that my grandma had taken a few pictures, because at some point in time when I was trying to download my pictures and videos from my phone, I apparently at some point erased everything and I lost all of my pictures and a lot of really good videos from this epic trip. And Roswell was a really fun spot that we stopped at along the way. And I had a lot of really good pictures of that place. But we played golf at the Nancy Lopez golf course there in Roswell, New Mexico. Beautiful course. Of course, my grandma beat me because she pretty much beats me every time we play golf. Pretty much anybody who plays me in golf goes ahead and beats me because I'm really not that good, as I've mentioned before. But anyways, I'm a huge fan of Billy the Kid, mostly based on the movie Young Guns back in the late 80s. But we were close enough to Fort Sumter, New Mexico, that I was able to go out to Billy the Kid's grave and kind of check out Lincoln County a little bit. Again, a lot of my pictures have gotten lost somewhere up there in the interweb somewhere. So I don't have a whole lot of pictures of that, but got to see Billy the Kid's grave and a couple little spots out there in Roswell, New Mexico. Went to the little alien museum there in Roswell, New Mexico. But anywho, after we left Roswell, this is when things start to get a little bit interesting. We were heading towards Las Cruces, New Mexico, and that's where we were going to go ahead and gas up and get ready to go on to. We were actually going to head to Tombstone, Arizona, before we made it into Phoenix, Arizona. So we get gassed up, go to the bathroom, get our drinks ready for the next couple-hour journey that we have ahead of us. And to be honest with you, folks, I wasn't exactly sure where Las Cruces, New Mexico was. I did not realize that you're only about 10 miles from the Mexican border. Well, anyway, we are driving down the road, probably 10 miles outside of Las Cruces, and I happen to see a sign that says Canines on duty ahead, curb your dog. Now, I kind of thought to myself, what the hell does that mean? And then about another mile, we see the sign again that says patrol check, border crossing, 5 miles ahead. Well, little did my grandma know that I had a little bit of marijuana in my trunk, in my suitcase, buried away. Because my thought was, well, after I drop off grandma, I can find me a spot to sit and partake, if you will. So we get a little bit closer, and I'm getting a little bit more nervous. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I think if anything, if the Border Patrol stops us and they run the dog around the car and they smell my marijuana, I'm going to pin it on my grandma over here, say that she's got glaucoma. And there in Mississippi, it's not legal. So we brought a little bit with us. So as I'm playing this story out in my head, how it is that I'm going to drop the dime on my granny for having a dime bag there in my suitcase, we get a little bit closer. The traffic starts lining up, and I'm about 4 cars back from the next little gate there, the first set of gates that you have to go through. And I can see that they're walking dogs around a couple of the cars in front of us, and I'm getting really nervous. This whole time, I am also hearing dogs that I'm not sure where they are, I guess on the other side of this little gate that we're about to go through. And these dogs are going absolutely ballistic as they bark and carry on. And I'm thinking, these are the dogs that are going to sniff out my dime bag in my suitcase here. And I'm going to have to turn Granny over. As we are now the next car to pull up and have the dogs walk around, I'm about to go ahead and tell Granny that I'm about to turn her over to the Border Patrol and explaining the story that I had in my head if they should want to pop the trunk and find my dime bag in the car there. So anyway, we get pulled up next. The fella kind of looks inside the car, sees it's me and my elderly sweet grandmother, and passes us on through. So, dodged a big bullet. Back to the dogs going ballistic. As we make our way past the first little gate, I look to the left, and there is like a brand new Escalade that is just being torn up by like 3 German Shepherds. And I am thinking to myself, I think I would have rather said, here's my dime bag out of my suitcase. Please don't let your dogs tear up my car. So, crisis averted. No problem at the border. We make it on through. And the next thing you know, we're moving on to Tombstone, Arizona. Again, little did I know that Tombstone, Arizona is like 3.5 miles from the Mexican border. And as we are making our way down this windy road to Tombstone, Arizona, we pass another border stop, this time going back the other way, in which we're going to have to go that way on the way back out. So, rather than taking the chance of having to turn my grandmother over to the Border Patrol, I decided that at Tombstone, Arizona, I was going to go ahead and throw my dime bag out into the trash can. That way we didn't have to worry about anything at the border. And as you can imagine, as we got up to that border checkpoint on the way out of Tombstone, it was closed for the day. So, all that for nothing. And then I didn't have any marijuana to enjoy on my way back home after I dropped grandma off in Phoenix, Arizona. The rest of the trip went pretty smooth. I got my grandmother to her friend's house. She didn't have to spend the night in the slammer there at the Border Patrol. Possibly some prison down in Tijuana. And we all made it home back safe. Well, that's it for now, folks. That is the last of my dash cam footage from my 2024 golf trip. And I am sure that I will come up with some more stories to tell as time goes on. But I do appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe. Till next time, we'll see you later.